On behalf of BSI, I'd like to thank you for being here and welcome you. My name is John Hirst. I'm chairman of BSI and very proud to be so. This standard is one of a series of standards that we have published in difficult societal areas. We're well known for standards on screws and engineering parts and product safety, but this is something different, and it follows in a stream of things about menopause and menstrual health for women in the workplace, on modern slavery, and a whole series of standards that are quite difficult for people to manage. And this is one of those. And I'm proud that we at BSI have the courage to step into those spaces. I also just think the world's such a small place, because my very first job when I left university was in concert, about which we can talk later. But even this week, I'm chairman of a small epilepsy society because my son, when he was 21, died in an epileptic seizure, and I've been involved with epilepsy charities ever since. But just this week, on Tuesday, one of the 12 staff rang me up and said that she had lost her brother to suicide at the weekend, last weekend. And you think, you know, this brushes past people every day, and yet so many of us are in touch with suicide and its consequences that we forget. I think, if you're outside that community and members of a club that nobody wants to be a member of, you forget just how prevalent, how impactful it is. We're here to celebrate the publication of this standard, first in the world, first in the UK to address this subject. And it's a massive piece of work. And I have to tell you, just briefly, actually, as things were developing, because it's such a sensitive issue, there were voices around saying, this is a bit risky, are we going to mislead people, is it going to be difficult? And we pushed on through those uncertainties because it's such an important issue to deal with, that even if we can help collectively in a small way, that would be justification enough for doing the work. With that in mind, I'd like to thank the Minister, Baroness Merran, who's responsible for mental health in the government, the co-sponsoring MPs, Liz Twist and Neil Hudson, who will speak shortly, who've been incredibly supportive to the team in its work all the way through. I'd like to thank the committee, especially Professor Anne John, who will speak in a second, who chaired the committee, and with that Marcus Long, who led communications group, and Peter Kelly, who led the drafting panel. This committee had over 70 participants. Sometimes we have 3, 6. Rarely do we get committees where there are over 70 people with a genuine interest in a subject. And on behalf of my team, I want to thank all the organisations who've supported this work, who are here tonight, and indeed those who couldn't be with us. There are a couple of things in my notes here that I think you may know, but it's probably just worth sharing for the record, that research shows that 1 in 4 adults has contemplated suicide. 1 in 13 has attempted it. For every suicide, at least 135 people, including colleagues, clients and communities, are directly or indirectly affected. It's a lot of people, isn't it? It's a lot of stuff. And then there's stuff about the representation of men over 50, and a whole series of stats that break down the aggregate impact. But actually, in the end, it's a personal issue. It's about the people who are close to and people who are involved with those who take their own lives. Yesterday we received an endorsement from Andy Burnham, Mayor of Manchester. And I was going to read this out, but we'll put it on the website and you can read it yourself. But already it's being endorsed and supported, not just by the people here, but by the people outside. And as Anne said, that's really the real test, whether people can actually do something about this and deliver it. It has been downloaded around 3,000 times, and that's in 60 countries. And one of the prizes that is available to us, having done this for the first time in the world here in the UK, as in a lot of cases where we have led as BSI, these standards get adopted by ISO and become world standards. So those of you who have participated or are associated with this, can actually take pride from the fact that the work you have done might just change the lives of people around the world for the better. And it's one of the joys of working at BSI. It's fantastic. Last thing I want to say, apart from a call to action, is that I've run businesses of all shapes and sizes, and I wish I'd had something like this available for us to manage in the past, rather than it being a quite frightening secret. To have a standard like this that we could have operated to would have made such a difference from the way we dealt with things. So a call to action now. We're asking for your help, really. Your attendance here shows that you're already involved in sport, that there's room for making a difference. So I'd ask you to work with us to help raise the awareness of this standard. We want to ensure that it's not only raises awareness, but also gives organisations the tools they need. Let's get organisations using this free standard in workplace across the UK and indeed across the world. Share the link to the document with your networks and colleagues. There are QR codes around the place if you want to use it. But if we use this standard to encourage the conversations that are so necessary and break down the stigma or myths, with your help, those of our good friends here in Parliament and the Lords, we can really make a difference to save some lives and save a lot of families and friends from a great deal of anguish. So let's work together now to take it to the next stage. Thank you for being here.